So even though recently there's been a huge amount of fear that has entered this space with things slowing down a little bit, we are seeing some stagnation, things cooling off, some things even seeing a slight decline. I am still buying specifically one product. So in this video, I want to talk about the product I've been buying. Then I'm going to give some honorable mentions and some thoughts to you guys out there. If you're still wanting to buy, just some information, I guess some things that I'd maybe consider right now with what's going on, what I would recommend buying. So yes, as you can see here, I am still buying Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer boxes. I have been purchasing them in smaller amounts recently. I did make one large purchase like a few weeks ago, or was it a few weeks ago, maybe a week ago. Yeah, I'm still buying them whenever I can find them for a little bit under market. So right now, a little bit under market would be like, what is it right now, 140, 145. I'm willing to pay if I'm getting around like a 10% discount. I'm still buying them. I know it's a very minuscule discount, but whenever I can find a deal that's a little bit under market, after taxes, after everything, I'm buying. For me, it doesn't really matter what's been going on recently. I see Prismatic Evolutions Elite Trainer Box is still a great opportunity at this price point. I've been, preaching it to you guys. Even though I still do believe there may be a time where we still see reprints and more supply coming for this product. I think it's possible. I just don't heavily believe there will be enough for prices to get to the point of being extremely, extremely cheap. Will they maybe go back to $100 at some point? Possibly. I think that is a possibility, but for me, I'm not going to be betting on that happening based on how much supply we have gotten in the past few months of these ETBs, that we're going to get enough for them to go to maybe $80-$90. Obviously, the lowest it's been since all these reprints have been $95, and those times where it did reach $95, it literally was for a singular day where it was $95. So just looking at that, I really highly doubt these will go really down even further from that price point. But like I said, maybe in the future, do they go down to $100 if we get some large ETB reprint? Possibly. But I really truly believe ETBs are not going to be super heavily reprinted again in the future. But there may be more supply. So me buying at near market price at this point, maybe in the future, maybe could I be buying it for a bit cheaper then? Possibly. But the thing with me is, I'm fine averaging my cost out. So I was buying a large amount when they were $80 to $90. Some I was paying $100 for back then when we were getting all those reprints. So if you do the math, okay, if I'm buying some at now like around 130 after taxes, if back then I was buying a lot, 80, 90, $100, my average cost may end up being like $110 somewhere around there. And for me, a $10-$20 difference from my cost basis if I'm buying more at this higher price point, it doesn't matter. I look at this stuff more in the longer term, especially for Prismatic, because this is definitely one of the things I want to have a large amount in my longer term holdings is Prismatic Evolutions ETBs. I don't care about a $20, even $30 cost basis difference from even when I was buying at the lows versus now when I'm buying. If my average is 110, 120, I don't care. For me, it's about volume, because the way I see it is this way. If I have maybe, let's just use a number that's simple, 100 ETBs. Obviously, I have more than that, but let's just say I have 100 ETBs, and let's say I buy, and I stop buying them because maybe they've gone up. Let's say I buy them for an average cost of $100. Let's just make the math simple, okay? So 100 ETBs at $100, what is that? $10,000, right? Let's say instead of not buying it, even if it goes higher than that, let's say I buy them now when they're like about let's say 130, okay? 130. So my average cost, let's say I buy another 100, my average cost is going to be then $115. So I paid $15 more than I was originally at to get another 100 ETBs if you average the price out, right? So I'm only paying $15 more per ETB, averaging things out. In the long run, let's say these go to $400. Let's say in like 2 years they go to $400, which I don't think is extremely radical to say. I think that's somewhat in reason, right? To say in 2 years these could possibly be $400. I don't think that's ridiculous based on what we've seen previously, right? Is that difference in price from $100 cost basis to $115, that $15 difference when these ETBs, let's say they're $400, is that gonna matter? No. To me, it does not matter one single bit. I don't really care that, okay, my cost basis has moved up, because at the end of the day, when things have grown exponentially, I would have been better off buying a larger amount, even though if I have to pay more for some of them, and having that larger volume than not buying anything just because, oh, I don't want to pay another $20, $30. I would be way better off just buying anyways and just averaging my cost. So that's what I see it right now. As you know, even though price, I'm buying it way higher than I was before. It just doesn't matter to me. I'm just buying along the way. I bought a large amount when it was extremely cheap. Now that things have gone up, I'm still buying, not in as large amounts, but I'm still buying continuously, trying to get a little bit under market here and there. I've been buying maybe 2, 3, 4 here, here and there, and I'm just accumulating. And I truly believe that these small differences in prices early on really do not matter at the end of the day. What really matters is doing it at a volume, and I'm still buying because I'm not at the point where I'm done buying and I'm super happy. Like, I have a lot, but I am wanting to get to a point where I have even more. So for me, I'm just averaging my price. I don't really care. Yes, has my cost base has gone up? Yes, but I'm completely fine because, like I just gave an example, I don't care. 10, 20, $30 more of a cost basis. It's not going to matter if I have hundreds more. It's whatever to me. So that's what I've been doing. I'm still buying them, like I said, not in large quantities, but whenever I can find them a little bit under market, I'm still picking them up, because for me, I'm just gonna literally keep buying. I'd say to the point maybe when they start getting to 150, I might start to slow down and maybe stop buying. But right now at 130, like, I've been buying them. I still feel pretty comfortable buying at that price point. To be honest, it's not crazy to me. And I still see there being great potential buying at that price point. Like I said, once it gets north of 150 and I can't find any deals, I might start to back off. But I've been just slowly accumulating here and there, just looking online, finding a few places here and there to buy from. But that's what I've been buying, mainly. Really all I've been buying, to be honest with you guys. Everything else I haven't been buying. That's the only product I've been buying. Other prismatic products, there's still opportunity. You can definitely still buy, like, I think surprise boxes are still somewhat underrated because there's so much supply, but you have to look at the long term for those to really buy them, because I know a lot of people aren't even looking towards that direction to buy them because they're so dirt cheap. That's a product that I would consider if you're in it for the long term, because even the promos are still worth a decent amount. Booster bundles are still a fine buy at $60 right now. Locally, if you can find them for even $50, that's still a great buy. Super premiums at 300 plus now, they're almost like 350. I mean, there's opportunity, but in my opinion, at that price point, I just look for other things. I'd rather honestly buy a normal ETB than super premiums, because at 350, just doing, like, the math with, like, okay, doubling and all that stuff, I think there might be more opportunity in regular ETBs. But yeah, I think just buying anything prismatic is still okay. Even regular PC TVs are fine. But I just think the best opportunity is in normal ETBs, and that's just what I've been buying. But moving on, some other stuff. If you're out there and now the market sort of slowing down, a slight, stagnation. I think pretty much at this point, really, other than the super new stuff, everything's still a fine buy. I feel like Sword and Shield stuff is an obvious buy if you're, I've been talking about it. Especially the boxes like Brilliant, Chilling, Lost Origin, those boxes have gone down recently. I think those are great opportunities. Buying Lost Origin under $800 is, in my opinion, a pretty obvious buy. Chilling Reign at 500, Brilliant Stars, I think, a little bit under 500. Those are pretty obvious buys. I think Brilliant and Lost Origin are my top picks. Chilling is still a good set, but Chilling is maybe on the bottom of that. I think there is still opportunity there. Even you could say, other boxes like Fusion's like about 1,000 now. I mean, that's okay. Sword and Shield still, to me, has always been a buy, and now even more than ever. The price has gone down a little bit for some things. Those are buys. Scarlet and Violet wise, I feel like the first 4.5 sets, whatever's going to go out of rotation, those are still buys. Base set boxes, and now I think a little bit under 250. Base set, I don't really like talking about buying Scarlet and Violet base because I honestly don't have any and I don't really recommend it. But hey, that at 240 is not a bad buy. But it's, I just see the potential. It's not super high. Paldea Evolved is now like 450. I think Paldea Evolved at 450 is not a bad buy either. I think that's pretty good. But if you're paying 450 for Paldea Evolved, I know it is one of the best or better main sets in Scarlet and Violet. At that point, you could buy Brilliant or Chilling. You have to consider that. What else? Obsidian. I mean, it was at at 300s. It's not, in my opinion, great. 151 is kind of out the question at this point. 151, yeah, just all the products have gone up so much to the point where it's kind of hard to say any of it is a great investment. Yeah, sure, 151, it's still in print. When it goes out of print, are things going to go up even more? Sure. But I mean, ETBs at 400, PCTBs at 1,000, UPCs are what, like 600, 700, whatever, how much it is. And booster bundles above $100. It's hard to say it's a good investment at this point, even though it's going to go up. But percentage wise, it's pretty expensive right now, where I wouldn't really say anything 151 is that worth investing. I don't know if Blooming Waters boxes, I don't know how much they compare to loose pack prices, but if you can find any 151 product kind of for a loose pack price, I guess that's fine. But moving on from that, Paradox Rift at 270, 280 is a decent buy, right? But if you look at the past week, there's been no boxes selling. Strange, but Paradox Rift is fine. Pelion Fates, $300 in ETB is kind of in the middle. Like, I mean, it's expensive. It's kind of lost that huge opportunity. Booster bundles, are they above 100? I haven't checked. But Pelion Fates is still kind of expensive. But moving on from those like middle era, like Scarlet Violet stuff, is like Temporal, Twilight. Those really haven't moved much. Like Temporal's now like 280, 290, like 280, 290. Twilight's like 340, 350. I mean, those are kind of like iffy. But all the newest stuff like Destin in Mega, I personally wouldn't really be buying at this price point. But for me, the most obvious thing in what I've been buying and what I've been talking about forever is prismatic ETBs. I still see tremendous opportunity buying them in the low hundreds. Even like I said, it's a possibility in the future they reprint more. I'm not saying it's not, but just like I said, using the reasoning of averaging cost out, I'd rather have more volume and have a high average cost at the end of the day when these are, you know, 3, 4, 500, whatever amount, you know, paying like $20, $30 more, my average cost being higher and getting like, you know, 2, 3 times more than I had just because I'm just paying a little bit more. I don't mind. And that's not really stopping me from buying just a little bit of a price increase. For me, I mean, you know, like I said, I was buying a large amount at the lower price point, so I don't really care. But I'm just trying to still accumulate, you know, these ETBs when I can find them for a little bit under market. I've been just trying to, you know, get a few more here and there, and just been, you know, collecting them. And I'm trying to, you know, get to, you know, I mean, it's my biggest holding of all products. I mean, pretty obviously, but I'm trying to build a very large amount of these, and I've still been buying them even now. So if that tells you anything, I guess that's just my standpoint on this product. So wanted to make this video just to tell you guys what I've been buying. Yes, I'm still buying, even though all the, you know, talks now that have been, you know, the market's going to crash. I'm still buying. Prismatic ETBs, I'm still buying them for like around 130. And you guys out there, if you can find any for around that price point, I still think it's a great opportunity. But that's obviously up to you. But for me, I think it's still fine to buy at that price point. So that's all I want to talk about in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.